Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the daily cricket show, the Cricket Happening Show. And as far as today's cricket happening show goes, well, right now when I'm talking to you, Bangladesh, I think they are putting their best effort in test matches here because we see that today, while I'm talking to you here, it's drinks on day two in the game between Bangladesh and New Zealand. We are talking about the first test match which was played at the Basin Reserve in Wellington, and drinks has been taken in the second session, and Bangladesh are really in a very strong position as I'm talking. They are 332 for 4, and they are really wearing off the New Zealand bowlers, and even the new ball that has been taken has resulted in a steady, not a steady flow of runs, in fact a torrent of runs, as Shakib Hashim and Mushfiqur have been doing a great job with this combination. But Shakib Hashim is just 7 short of a century. He has 93 to his name, unbeaten runs with 12 boundaries, and Mushfiqur is not out on 87 with 14 boundaries. And I think Bangladesh are definitely be aiming at a 500 mark here, with still some bit of batting to come in the form of Sabir Rahman yet to come. So definitely Bangladesh, I thought, in test matches for the first time we are seeing that they are really putting up a very good show. I'll come back to that later. In the meanwhile, let me talk about a match that today it was the final test match of the Wanderers, and as I was telling, this is a very pacey and bouncy pitch, and South Africa winning the toss very surprisingly, Faf du Plessis deciding that South Africa will bat first. One would have probably expected South Africa to really pile on the pressure and probably put Sri Lankans in, and it really came as a major surprise when the South African captain du Plessis decided that they would bat first. And but they batted, but they definitely lost their openers early. But one good thing happened for South Africa was that Hashim Amla just needed that bit of luck as he was dropped by Dhananjay De Silva. But look at what Amla did. Amla was playing in his landmark 100 test match, and what a show for Hashim Amla. Hashim Amla was not out on 125, and he scored a century in his 100 test match after being woefully out of form with no 50 in the last 10 innings that he played. Amla coming up trumps here with a century in his 100 test match, and that is what class is all about. He just needed that bit of luck, and after that the wristy flicks were coming in. His wrists were nicely rolling along, and also his drives that he actually punches in a very graceful fashion. And Duminy was the other one who was giving him company, as Hashim Amla and Duminy put up the highest ever partnership against Sri Lanka for the third wicket when they added 292 runs. They came in when South Africa had lost both the openers for 45 runs, and after that it was a Hashim Amla and JP Duminy show. Duminy was absolutely, he was really looking very fluent in his century. Amla definitely took his time because he had to play himself into form, but what a recovery for South Africa, as they ended the day at 338 for 3, and Hashim Amla is still there, not out on 125 with 16 boundaries, as Duminy departed for 155 with 19 boundaries. So I'll be talking about this game. So definitely I'll be talking about this. And also let me tell you that today we are going to see the ODI series starting between between Australia and Pakistan at the Gabba, the first ODI where Australia are without, as you know, Finch and Bailey have been dropped, as they were all regulars in the ODI, and the news comes that the Aussie skipper Stephen Smith has said Travis Head will actually open the innings, and Travis Head has been given the license to go for the strokes. Normally we would have seen Travis Head coming in the middle order and basically also chipping in. But now Travis Head has been really pitchforked here. He has been told to open the innings with David Warner, and also the exciting Chris Lynn has also been given the license by the Aussie skipper Stephen Smith to go for whatever he wants, and that is really good news, and I think that is a very, very good move on the part of the Aussie skipper Stephen Smith. So, and one has to see whether Pakistan can get some change of luck in the year 2017. Okay, we'll come back to that later, but first what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the first day's play in the test match that is between South Africa and Sri Lanka. And as I already said, that South Africa won the toss, and to really surprising everybody, the captain du Plessis decided that South Africa will bat first. Well, it all started with D'Oliveira of South Africa actually making his test debut after Kyle Abbott had gone from the squad. And as far as Sri Lanka were concerned, they decided to they didn't include Chamira. They had Lakmal, Pradeep, Kumara and Angelo Matthews, and it was the skipper Angelo Matthews who actually provided them a very quick breakthrough. As the ball was definitely doing something, we could see some real zing in the pitch, no doubt about it, as Lakmal and Pradeep were bowling, but Matthews was the one who got the penetration, as I said, and Stephen Cook, who was very watchful for his 10 runs, was the first victim, as Stephen Cook was LBW bowled Matthews for 10. So that was wicket number 1. Dean Elgar stayed at the crease for some time with the out of form Hashim Amla at the crease, and Hashim Amla at that time was still really struggling, and also he was dropped by Dhananjay De Silva. And Dean Elgar, well, he was the next victim, as Lairu Kumara actually bounced out Dean Elgar for 27 with 3 boundaries. So that made it 45 for 2, and South Africa were really definitely put in a bit of trouble there with both the openers back. Hashim Amla, as I said, was still struggling at the crease, in the sense he was still trying to find his form, and he was very watchful, and JP Duminy. But once JP Duminy came in, JP Duminy brought some real positivity as far as stroke play was concerned, and Duminy was really flowing into his strokes, and suddenly we saw how that rubbed off into out of form Hashim Amla's batting, as Hashim Amla, after that drop by Dhananjay De Silva when he was 7, Hashim Amla just needed that bit of luck to actually get on with this 100th test match, a landmark test match for Hashim Amla, and what a fitting way he got into form. And suddenly we saw Hashim Amla of old getting his wrist beautifully rolling over the ball, and his drives were impeccable, and that grace was there, and suddenly Hashim Amla was starting to really flow, and JP Duminy on the other hand was making batting look very easy. He was very fluent in his stroke making, and suddenly the South African innings started really getting into some real gear, as the score started really moving along in a very steady manner. As from 45 for 2, the Lankans were really kept on the field for quite a long time, as the Amla and Duminy combined to put the highest ever partnership for the 3rd wicket against Sri Lanka, as they put on 292 runs for the 3rd wicket. And I have to say that Hashim Amla also joined he became the 8th player in test history to score a century in his 100th test match, and the one person who has actually scored 2 centuries in his 100th test match, and that proud man is the former captain of Australia, Ricky Ponting, and the others being Colin Cowdray, I reckon, Javed Miandad, Greenwich from the West Indies, Alex Stewart from Australia, from England, Inzamam Ulaq of Pakistan, and Graham Smith of South Africa. So definitely Hashim Amla becoming the 2nd South African to do so, as he scored a century, and what a knock that was. And then finally, I would say just before the close of play, just at the stroke of close of play, we saw that Duminy's wicket was gone, as it was Lairu Kumara who actually picked up his wicket by getting him caught by Mendes, but not before Duminy had really piled up a very good score. And for Duminy too, it was after coming after quite a long time, as he was making his 6th test century, and his score was 155 with 19 boundaries embedded into that. And as I said, Duminy was a picture of total control and positivity. And finally, when stumps were drawn for the day, with Duminy being dismissed just before close of play, the boy who was actually making the pace bowler was actually making his test debut, D. Olivier, was sent in as a night watchman. He survived there with none to his credit after facing 4 balls. Hashim Amla was not out on 125 with 16 boundaries, as South Africa closed the day 1 against Sri Lanka at the Wanderers in Johannesburg in the 3rd test match, the final test match, at 338 for 3. As far as bowling was concerned, Lakmal had none for 70, none for 58 for Pradeep. Matthews did a good job, and one was thinking that as to why Matthews did not bowl himself a lot. 12 overs, 4 minutes, 1 for 25. He was the one who was really making the ball really work, one could say, on this pitch. Lairu Kumara, 18 overs, 1 minute, 279. Rangana had at 14 overs, was costly, none for 67. Could not get much out of the pitch. 8 overs, 1 minute, none for 22 for Dhananjay De Silva. So that is as far as the match situation is concerned, as far as South Africa and Sri Lanka are concerned. Now, the next match I'm going to look at, I'm going to go and see what's happening with Bangladesh. And as I'm talking to you, the century has come for Shakib Al Hasan. What a century from Shakib Al Hasan. Tremendous knock from Shakib Al Hasan. He's still there. He's not out on 102 with 13 boundaries. And Mushfiqur Rahim has moved on to 96. And all eyes will be on him as he would be trying to reach his century. So let me see whether I can go live and give you some cricket commentary here. I'm trying to do that. So definitely Bangladesh are looking very strong indeed. They have reached 350 mark now for 4 wickets, and what a partnership that has been. One has to say that this has been something which has been truly outstanding from Bangladesh point of view. Let's have a look as to what really is happening there, taking you live to the ground here to see what exactly is going on. Let me see what exactly is going on there. As I said, Mushfiqur Rahim needs another 4 runs to actually get on to his century, and I'm sure both these players who are very experienced, they have done a marvelous job till now, and I'm sure they would be definitely eyeing 500 runs today. And let's see. And while I'm talking to you, Mushfiqur Rahim is now only 2 runs short of a century, and I can say that this is something which is just beginning to happen. And also this is Shakib Al Hasan's 4th test century, and this is his 2nd century in New Zealand. So I'll keep the commentary going till such time. I apologize. Mushfiqur Rahim is still on 96, as I see Trent Bolt, who is now bowling to Mushfiqur Rahim, who is not out on 96 with 16 boundaries. Shakib Al Hasan making 102 of 13 with 13 boundaries, and what a partnership this has been. They have really carried Bangladesh forward here. They lost Mominul Haq, who was playing very well yesterday, pretty early. But after that, these 2 excellent players from Bangladesh with lots of experience, and the captain along with Shakib Al Hasan, they have stitched together a very good partnership, and the stitching is still going on, as the current partnership has already yielded 190 runs for the 5th wicket, and a very valuable partnership at that. And we are still keeping an eye on Mushfiqur Rahim, but Mushfiqur Rahim has to wait now, as the over from Trent Bolt has ended. And Trent Bolt, let me tell you, is one bowler who has definitely troubled Mushfiqur Rahim. Mushfiqur Rahim has been facing some problems with the ball actually angled towards him, and I would say he has been lucky on quite a few occasions. But other than that, Mushfiqur Rahim has also flowed in with his stroke making. Shakib Hassan, to me, has been more confident than Mushfiqur Rahim, and he has been playing strokes. He has been really making some very good judgment as to how to play strokes. And basically, we know that Shakib Hassan is very good on the cut shot as well, and he has really taken full toll of anything which has been short and wide outside the off stump. As I'm talking to you, Bangladesh 350 for 4. I'm just keeping the commentary going just to see whether while I'm doing the commentary I can get Mushfiqur Rahim, also the captain of the Bangladesh team, to go on and make a century. So let's wait and watch. And meanwhile, as I said yesterday, talking about the game, Tamim Iqbal played a good hand and a very attractive stroke play from Tamim Iqbal. And we saw then the next one to take over was Mominul Haq, who did a fine job. And I thought, and as I'm speaking to you, I see Tim Saudi bowling to Shakib Hassan, and Shakib Hassan has actually sent the ball to the boundary for 4. And I have to say one thing here, that not only Bangladesh have done a new ball, even after the second new ball was taken, they have been scoring a lot of runs. I mean, they have been using the pace of the ball and getting a lot of runs, and that is very good to see. And really, I would say they have really left the New Zealand bowlers absolutely frustrated at this point of time. And as I'm talking to you, there is one more boundary which has been hit by Shakib Hassan. What a wonderful exhibition of batting here from Shakib Hassan. Tim Saudi has been hit for 2 consecutive 4s right now, and as I'm talking to you, the first one was actually short and outside. As you know, Shakib is one who really sizes it up if at all anything is sitting outside the off stump, and if especially with his short and outside off wide, he really fancies himself, and that's what he precisely did. In fact, the second delivery actually he actually has pulled Saudi through the mid-wicket region for a boundary. So that is the situation now. So we're going to have to still wait for Mushfiqur Rahim to come and bat here. And as I said, Mominul Haq also played a very good innings, but today, after making 66 very good runs, he was a goner. And as you know, Mominul Haq has been a very consistent player who has been scoring lots of 50s, as you know, in 2016, and now in 2017 has already started off in right earnest with another 50, and that was also a very good knock from Mominul Haq, who played with lots of positive intent. And Mahmudullah definitely had his problems. He was hit once by Neil Wagner, and also 2 times he was hit by the bowlers, but he just tried to be there, but nevertheless Bangladesh are doing a fine job here. So right now, while this is going on and we are still waiting for Mushfiqur Rahim to get a century, I have to say that today is also the start of the ODI series between Australia and Pakistan. The first ODI One Day International is going to be played at the Gabba in Brisbane. As I said, Australian captain Steve Smith has given the license. Travis Head is the new opener who will be partnering David Warner, and Stephen Smith is the captain. Chris Lynn, another exciting player who has been given the license to go for his strokes. And what an exciting player Chris Lynn is. And also Travis Head, we know what a good hitter of the ball he is. He is coming on the heels of a double century that he made recently, I am told. It was in the I think it was the Matador Cup that he made his double century. So he's looking in peak form there. Chris Lynn has been having a real bash in the Big Bash, as you know. And there's Mitchell Marsh, Glenn Maxwell is back into the mix, and Matthew Wade, James Faulkner, Pat Cummins. And also let's look at Australia. Australia have 3 bowlers who are going to be bowling with genuine pace, and Stephen Smith has definitely said that having 3 bowlers bowling at some serious pace is going to be the real work for the Pakistan batsmen. Pat Cummins Mitchell Starc and Billy Stanley, who will be making his one-day international debut today. He's a tall guy, and he also generates some serious amount of pace. And also Pakistan have Mohammad Hafiz, who has been back into the team, and that is good news. Pakistan definitely have their problems. They have lost Sarfraz Ahmed, who has gone back to Pakistan because of his because of the death of his mother, I reckon, and also there is another bloke, Mohammad Irfan, the tall bowler, has also gone back, which is very sad. So, but Pakistan definitely look. They have Umar Akmal back, Shoaib Malik is back, and I think we should have a good game. Mohammad Irfan is the person who is going to be taking the wicket-keeping gloves. So let's see whether Mushfiqur Rahim has reached a century before I leave you here, dear fans and subscribers. And as I'm talking to you, yes, Mushfiqur Rahim is still 3 short, but unfortunately, right now it's time for me to end this cricket show. But let me tell you, Bangladesh are doing a great job here, really frustrating the New Zealand bowlers here. Thanks for your company and watching Cricket Happenings. I'll be back tomorrow. Till such time, it's good night.